So they go to Worlds. That's guaranteed because they will be highest in circuit points or they win the LCK. SKT fans, for the first time in a long time, Achilles, they're actually KT fans for the Grand Final because if KT Rolster beat Longzhu in the Grand Final, they actually guarantee that SKT goes through on circuit points and Longzhu would have to play the qualifier. So that's basically where we land. For today, the battle lines are drawn. KT Rolster versus SKT. But if KT go on to the Grand Final, it's in SKT's interests that KT win.
Such a turnaround there. But already back onto the thresh for the third game in a row. Mata starting to get some harass down onto Bang and Wolf. We'll see how Wolf is going to be piloting this Rakan. They've been banning it away in the first two games, but now decide to go ahead and pick it up for themselves.
Mata going for the Alpha Flay trades, try to get his Courage proc and go for the autos. This is the hot fixed version for Sivra. Originally got a massive buff on this patch and then realized that was silly. And it's just a 10 damage buff, which is relevant for a pick that was always situationally strong. If you're running the Maokai as the tank line, you would consider it. But in this case, it's going to have a bit more laning oomph and be able to trade and push. Particularly with the Chance, seen as a bit of a pseudo counter, given that you can answer the charge and a lot of the abilities with the spell shield. Satchel charge, I should say.
Let's see. 15 minutes. First two games is when we start seeing the acceleration being pressed by KT Rolster. For now, just hang out and have some nice farming.
Blank has to do the putting out the fires game here, because if Elise goes into a lane, gets the jump on a laner, and there is not a Gragas to turn it around, there's a lot of reliability in the initiation from the side of KT Rolster, so that's where Blank exceeds compared to Peanut, who's not usually on the defensive duty. We've seen him on a Maokai so far this series. Blank certainly has thrived in that. In 2017 in particular, kind of amusing that Bengi had that role in 2016, and then Blank took it over after Bengi left to Vici Gaming in 2017, but Blank is excellent as a coverage jungler. Really, that's what he wants to do to ensure that no snowball goes down for the Elise.
Already Antara having a bit of a rough time as both junglers will be up on the top side of the map. Score waiting over the wall.
He doesn't know they're here.
No, he does not. Body slam going to come through. He's going to take quite a bit of damage. Dodges out on the twisted advance with that repel. Takes quite a bit from the arcane smash. Cocoon will not connect, but they trade decently back here onto Antara. But Blank, he's looking for it. He's just going to go ahead, flash to the other side, gets the first blow. Now Smeb's just got to get out of there.
Yeah, big mistake from Score, who held onto a CC for a long time, knowing they could potentially turn around and burst someone, missed the cocoon, and then didn't want to flash, held his summoner, and just passed a kill over, crucially not to Maokai. They don't give double buffs to Maokai. The kill goes over to Blank, so it doesn't impact the lane. That's what happens when you change the jungle. The tendencies of the enemy jungler changes, and Score was read like a book by Blank.
Very nicely done. A breath of fresh air here for SK Telecom. Already adding another kill onto the board for themselves. In this series, it's only been 3 kills and 1 tower that they've been able to take. So it's already a step in the right direction quite significantly.
It's one-way traffic, like you say before now, but it's a different SKT when you change in. The jungler has had the benefit of sitting with Coach Koma and watching the pathing and tendencies of KT so far this series. Not a big enough adjustment from Score. Was pretty predictable in ganking top, and well read by the side of SKT. So that's a feel-good moment for the SKT fans and the players, more importantly, to steady themselves in what is an emotionally charged Game 3.
Down at the bottom side. We'll just go ahead and start walking his way back up the river as the play does not connect. Got the Scuttle Crap. Blank only got to find the Spiderlings.
Didn't use his summoner, which led to his death, but does mean that he has more presence when ganking side lanes to follow up on a death sentence or make a play of his own. Faker answering on LeBlanc again. Game 1, the containment was fine, but the game eventually snowballed out of control for KT Rolster, and they couldn't have the Kassadin to keep him in line. And this time, when you go for the Corki, it's much more about having lane presence earlier than the Kassadin, if not having the same auto-win side lane pressure on the side. Notice it's a cleanse from Faker, so he's not taking teleport. A lot of mid-lane Corkis, even in bad matchups, are taking teleport for team comp. That does mean KT have a teleport advantage. A lot going on in the side lanes.
Yeah, back in the mid low, ongoing low, flashes away, a score arrives, lands a cocoon this time around. Faker looking for the kill perhaps, flashes in, has the big one, takes him down, but is out of mana, so can't pursue in on the score. Just gonna be a 1-for-1 there in the mid lane.
A lot going on everywhere. Def might be dead.
Oh yeah, he's gonna get jumped on, has to flash away from the grand entrance. Flayback coming through now onto Wolf. The hook will connect, but can they stick around for this one? Get the shield, keeps himself alive. As Bang uses the heal.
No creative summoners here. Bang has heal. Wolf has ignite. Gone is the barrier and heal they were running in game 1 with the Alistair as the supportive choice. A lot of actions, different to the first couple of games where we saw a bit more passage, calm passage of play. Smeb almost got a solo kill off screen. Saw the tail end of that, but not quite the damage yet to make that happen. This season, Smeb is undefeated on top lane Jarvan, 8-0. It's been his choice of initiation late game that has been the smart thing. Antara was a level under and juked to the left. That was well caught. Then we caught this fight where Pawn was baiting super hard because Score had his flash available. They do eventually get Gragas, but Gragas lives slightly longer than expected because he had already picked up an earlier kill. That's why things don't go exactly as planned for KT.
Well, gonna be SK Telecom with the advantage for now. Still very even across the board, except perhaps that top lane where Smeb has a pretty commanding lead in CS. We've already seen the trades now. On going in onto Faker, takes him quite low.
And more rotations of spells, only level 7.
And it just never stops as Score finds Blank. Pawn wrapping around from the side. Blank
Malakai's
is
gonna be there
pushing
first.
forward. Okay, is gonna be there. Pawn flashes to the side, comes up with the kill, but can he make it out of here? Nature's Grass coming through. Tries to go ahead and jukes back with the distortion. Score going low. Another rocket connecting. Mata misses out on the hook. Was throwing that one blind. But here comes Smeb. Flag and Dragon. Special delivery with the Cataclysm. Picks up the kill. And just like that, KT have the lead.
And Mata's been turning back the clock on Wolf. He's been able to roam so much more effectively on the Thresh. Has the boots of mobility already. Was there first. Happy to flash over to the Raptor side. Wolf went for Sightstone, focusing on lane, but Mata hasn't been playing in lane at all in this series, unlocking him even before the turret went down. Meant a lot for KT Rolster, and that's the first time this game they've traded up.
3-2 now. So they come up with those kills and scores, just hunting for
We've seen this
Antara.
before on Huni, you remember.
Yeah, this is exactly the treatment that they gave him, but looks like they will go ahead and peel back. Wanted to see if he was going to be going back in for the TP for the potential dive. Instead, just going to get a nice buy-in as Smeb goes ahead and picks up that phage for himself.
He knows Deft is happy to just stand next to the Satchel because he gets mana back.
Yep.
Is a bit flagrant to use your spell shield in the vision of the enemy's support, given there's a very, very long cooldown, around 24 to 26 seconds. I forget the exact number. But given just how Grand Entrance works, it always feels like if you fully commit as a Rakan, you're going to get someone through QSS or even Spell Shield. So happy to just take the trade, get the mana back, pull back, and you know that when the minion wave is inevitably pushed by Tristana, who can only push, you have enough mana for the ricochet into the Boomerang Blade, and you're fine regardless.
Plus, your CD is just about to come back up as well, so Deft is playing this one out pretty decently. You'd have the same one for the refillable potion on top of the BF sword.
Jarvan against 80 carries has always been a good matchup, specifically if they don't have escapes. Both Tristana and Corki do. But one of the reasons why Jarvan is still a great pick in the top lane against a draft like Corki and Tristana is that the change Riot made where you always get the Cataclysm damage in an AoE. Because you're going for Black Cleaver, Titanic Hydra, fairly high AD build, you do end up getting the burst in, and hell, if they've already used their escapes, then it goes back to just being Jarvan against 80 carries, where you're always well-suited to answer them. Smeb has been fantastic at picking engages. We've seen him come out of the darkness and find the right flag and drag into Cataclysm in most of those 8-0 games that he's played. So that's the sort of thing where he's free farming, he's 31 CS ahead, he's got his damage core already done. It might be the side laners that feel the penalty.
Not to mention, Mata's been pretty on point, so wouldn't be too shocked if we honestly saw a double Flayed Deny on the Tristana and Corki to stop their mobility, to stop their escapes from coming through.
It's mind-blowing that SKT have not banned Thresh in one game of this series.
They got half of it. They got the Callista taken care of, at least Papa Smithy. That's a step in the right direction. albeit maybe a bit too late, as Faker will come out on top of that exchange in the mid lane.
And while I like that part, again, it's the first two games. Like, Thresh was a permaban against Mata by many teams, including SKT, earlier in the season. It feels like Coma has basically been scrimming against Thresh, confident they are able to contain Thresh, because so far that's been the gambit they've thrown, but it has not worked.
Pop-up coming through there onto Antara, going low yet again. Smeb not really feeling the turret dive right now when the Nature's Grasp and the Flash are available.
The Q is super strong and interrupting also the flag and drag. It's very, very difficult to lock down Antara without help. And speaking of help, there's Score.
In the vicinity, would get spotted up by the sapling, which you can see Smeb is actually trying to pull for himself.
Rakan is roaming here as well. All very predictable by KT, and they've already been read once by Blank, so probably smart to just take the lane push and the pressure they're creating over necessarily confirming the kill.
Walking in again, jumping in, distorts to the side as Faker pursues with
Doesn't
the
have
Valkyrie.
flash.
Chain will come down, dark passage there from Mata yet again on the roam, making a very nice use of those Moby boots. Even clear out some vision if he wants to. Seems like they'll just go ahead and give that the deft.
Those saplings. Okay, well, they know that Gragas isn't here.
Nature's Grasp going to come down, through some advance in. Smeb's just got to take himself out with the flag and drag.
Nice stuff from Antara. Getting out of difficult ganks with a plum. He knew Gragas wasn't around because Gragas was making his way towards mid lane when that previous gank was happening. So that was the time to make it happen, but Antara gets out, only having to use his ultimate, not having to use flash. That's good stuff for SKT. Doesn't help his CS numbers, though. He's being snowballed on, CS-wise, by Smeb, that's for sure.
Yeah, just a bit. 30 CS up. Not too shabby. Vaughn's got the wave pushing in, staying decently competitive here against Faker. Of course, had to split his build to get that Hex Drinker first. In the meantime, Grand Entrance thrown down. Mata taking a lot of damage. Will get popped back by the Buster Shot, but will not go down. Def tries his best to trade back, but with just the BF sword and the long sword, it's not going to be doing a whole lot of damage as the Sivir quite yet.
I don't know, Score is bot side, but it'll take a genius to work it out if Sivir still pushes up. Heal enough to keep Deft alive. That's the only extra summoner invested on, but this was all well timed by SKT as the Drake is up. They're going to make the first attempt onto it.
Scored in the back of the pit, so they do see this one getting started up. Score starting to wrap his way around.
Only a Cloud Drake, so KT don't have to overforce on this, but they're going to.
They say that, but that's going to be the engage, and Tara's still going to be up in the top lane. Grand Entrance dash to the side there from Wolf as the flag and drag comes through, locks him into the Cataclysm. Blank has to flash out, as does Wolf, but he might still be going down.
No
Smith
kills.
misses the Dragon Strike, doesn't find it, but Pawn dashing in will be able to scoop up the double kill. The chain to confirm there on to Blank. 2 kills going over to KT. They can just go ahead and take this Cloud Drake if they damn well please.
Oh, what a chain. Just as he had to snap back to not die, he picks up the second kill. That was the big factor there. Achilles, big investment by the side of Smeb, but it's paid off by Pawn, and Pawn is dealing with a Corki with no mana. I'll be able to just rush him down. Maokai does not teleport. Not 100% sure whether it was up. I have to assume it was, and yet chose not to come in. 2 kills go over. What's Score doing here?
For the blue buff, doesn't have the smite, just now got it up, but we'll just leave it. So it seems like Faker will at least be able to pick that up.
Tara may have got the preferential back timing that he has been denied by Smeb pushing in wave after wave, but now he has to deal with the Black Cleaver Jarvan, and that's no fun.
Well, it's fun for Smeb.
There's a lot of games that I've cast involving Smeb, and people ask about Smeb. He was the #1 voted player when it came to Worlds in terms of players to watch. Smeb is a player who can play carry and tank equally good. There is almost no player in the world that can do that. Huni in spring season was one of the few that was able to straddle that line as well. If you give Smeb an advantage, he has the mechanics to outplay you. He has a carry mindset, and his teleport use is good. He is a complete top laner, unlike many top laners in the world. And him having this much of a lead against Antara, who, regardless of his success, is much more of a role player. He can play Rumble comfortably, many things comfortably. Watching Pawn.
Pawn in some trouble, will go ahead and get knocked up, but there's so much damage there from the Corki and the Gragas.
Not invested.
He will get taken down.
Not invested. Good roam timing by Wolf, and they're not able to punish this SKT on the bot side. But Smeb's where all the gold is, so we'll see what he can do. And speaking of Smeb, he might have started up a Rift Herald.
quickly taking this one out. Pings are coming down from Antares, who has an idea of where Smeb is, because there's also a ward in the back of the pit. So that'll help.
Just to complete my thought, and so the reason why I talk about it is that Untar is not the sort of player you would expect SKT to throw against him. I think it's why they usually run Huni, is because he also has the mechanics to jump up, but they went for the reliable choice 3 games in a row.
Well, this could be getting a bit risky here. TP coming through from Pawn. That's going to be the spike coming down. A score finds the Rift Herald. He's in a bit of trouble here. Goes up with a repel, but what goes up must come down, and one more hit will do it as he falls. Wolf dashing to the side, takes himself out to safety, and now Smeb is cut off. Throws down the Cataclysm, looking for the damage to kill off the Rakan. Can't get the hits in, and now it's 5-5 with SKT in a slight gold lead.
And KT showing too much aggression, going back to some older KT series where they found an advantage, try to push it. All they claim from that is the Rift Herald at the cost of 2 deaths. Sure, Score can pick it up, but he gave up his life for it. If Smeb had gotten out, it would have been fine. 1 death for the Rift Herald is probably a decent trade. But this is where KT rolls to give up what was a small gold lead, give up a kill lead as well. And already SKT getting many more kills than they'd gotten any earlier time in the series.
Yeah, seeming like maybe the first brick could be one of the first big separators that we have in this game for either side. Start accruing a larger gold lead. At the moment, SKT just going to be about 600 ahead, with both of those top lane tier 1 towers going rather low. So if we just see the summon onto the Rift Herald in top, Score will be able to kill it with just the charge. And it might just be the run of play here for the side of KT to guarantee that extra gold. Yep, there we go.
I imagine that would be at the same time as Jarvan going into a side lane, though, to make a kill while Rift Herald was taking down the top lane turret. Instead, they're going to push with the Rift Herald, which, like you say, 100% will take down that turret.
Goodbye.
Alvin will be able to match the teleport from Untar, and soon will have his flash up, but you're right, the moment that summon came through, the turret was guaranteed.
Even then, KT just find themselves about tied up with SK Telecom after the first brick bonus. Go for a bit of an invade, spot out the red buff as it's coming up. Lana is here to help out, as Pawn and Faker do a bit of a dance back and forth here in the mid lane.
It's a delay happening there with the barrel. Wasn't going to make a serious attempt to come in. Jarvan's already started walking down, but it's going to be on a Rift Herald, sorry, not Rift Herald, Raptor killing duty. To me, the next teleport from Antara, I think, will decide this game. So far, he's just been able to do the Maokai thing, and Maokai famously, like Rumble, gets his core items, which nowadays is a Righteous Glory, hits W on someone, and can, even from way behind in lane, fulfill his job in a team fight. Doesn't have budget tankiness anymore, as Antara didn't expect Smeb to be there.
No, he did not, but he's pretty tanky. So it seems like he might be all right in the exchange. Now we're going back over towards that Cloud.
Everything on
Score. On the Score, and he's just going to get taken down. Bang with the explosive charge comes up with the kill. Now Mata having to flash the way. The box buys him a little bit of time as Bang leaps in. Not finding much else in the meantime. Smeb still duking it out here with Untara, who has to flash away. Throws down the Nature's Grasp for good measure. Will get himself out of there successfully. Kill comes through, Score goes down, and that's going to be the first Drake going over to SKT.
SKT's target calling has been so much better in this series, been able to just train down. Closest target's been Score a couple of times now, has already died 3 times in this game. They get their first Drake, I believe, of the series. I may be wrong on that, but certainly have only gotten a couple, been meager.
Right now the count is going to be 9 kills, 1 tower, and 1 Drake.
And 6 of those kills and everything else coming from this last game.
Maybe 2 towers here as Bang looks like, yeah, he's just going to finish this one off. So does take that one down, and SKT start to move things forward. And again, it's around that same time of the game, but this time it's going to be SK Telecom that have their foot on the gas.
It's like their draft is more reliable in the late game, but certainly you cannot count KT out. This time they do have teleport advantage, as Corki took Cleanse to ensure the laning phase would go better. 24 CS up. 2-0-2, the laning phase certainly went better, but that is an extra strategic option available for KT that SKT doesn't have in the late game. The package only can go so far. You're right, much better for SK Telecom in this particular game. It's not being run at the pace of KT, who have actually had their over-aggression repelled in this game that was working so cleanly in games 1 and 2.
Trying to recollect themselves here, SKT. Looking to be proactive, pushing up into the top lane. Wolf tries to get the knock up there onto Smeb, but he has to flash away. But this many members up in the top side of the map, you have to expect that he's going to surrender that turret. Package does drag Faker far enough away to get out of those chains from Pawn.
Smeb had used the flag for farming.
It's going to be the wraparound. Faker says, screw it, I just have to try to kill the LeBlanc, but since he can't do that, might be in a spot of bother. Repel comes through, he's sashing his way back in. Cocoon and the hook are both going to miss. Pawn lands the chain. But will he make it out alive? One final turret shot will not take him down. There's nobody else in the vicinity to finish him off. So they will just go ahead and find Faker, but it was a group effort. In the meantime, that turret goes down up top. Smeb going in onto Bang, drops down the Cataclysm, gets pushed out by the Buster Shot. Now is set running. Flag and drags over the wall. Can he get out of here alive? The answer is going to be no as Blank comes over the wall, slows him up, and it's just a couple more hits to finish him off.
Will eventually take him down right at the front of Baron. They clear a control ward there, but won't start the Baron just yet. You see the pings from KT Rolster on it, so kills across the map. Objectives also mirrored. No advantage to either side there. Rotating the Maokai out of the face of the Jarvan is certainly something that will suit Antara just fine. Yes, advantages closed a lot between Smeb and Antara. Smeb has gone down twice in recent memory. Also very good build, going for the Gargo's Stone Plate instead of trying to finish off the Titanic Hydra. KT don't have the map control they had for 2 games. Had some good early moves, but too aggressive around the 15-20 minute mark, and now the game is much more comfortable for SKT.
Jeff not doing a whole lot of damage yet. Still has some time before he can start shredding everybody with his Sivir. Whether or not he's going to reach that is going to be the question. Explosive charge gets thrown down, but no chance for a follow-up there as the Dark Passage scoops him up to safety.
Deft, because he's only got farm, hasn't got the kills that Tristana is, going to go for the 2-item spike build on the Sivir, looking for the ricochet crits with Infinity Edge after the Essence Reaver. Already a lot of items onto Bang, with the turrets going down and the kills, and try to continue to increase the pace of the game. This should be mid lane turret falling for free.
We'll go ahead and take that one down. 3rd turret now here for SK Telecom. 4th in the series. Things are starting to look good with Blank on the roster. Even Antara has been able to go ahead and claw his way back in here. Just 9 CS down, has those 3 assists coming through as well. The engage coming through, actually double pop-up, and Depth just gets absolutely annihilated. Repel coming down from the score, and Bang has the follow-up. 2 more kills thrown over for SK Telecom, one of them being the jungler. They might be looking at Baron.
You wonder why SKT's been running Rakan for this long, because they're able to make the instant picks with Wolves oh so cleanly in Game 3. They're going to turn onto the Baron. They know no smite is available. LeBlanc might be in range, but really nothing that Pawn will be able to do. Baron going to be picked up by SK Telecom, and KT Rolster went for the snowball engage drop, went for a very strong pick comp, but pick comps mean very little against Baron buff.
They do. So Baron over to SK Telecom, 9-6, 5,000 gold in the lead, and they can add much, much more to that as long as they don't play too recklessly here. This is the turnaround that the fans here in the audience, the SKT fans watching from home, have been waiting for. Because if they win this, it's the potential start of a reverse sweep in the semifinal.
I think Rakan has been the big pick here for SKT. The ability to actually get instant picks. Alistair had to always shadow Thresh in the previous series. Seeing a very deep teleport.
Looking for Antara.
From LeBlanc.
Flag and Drag not going to connect. Antara does have the flash available, but the rest of the team is coming through, so he is almost certainly going to go down. But do they have the damage to kill him off before the rest of SKT joins in? It looks like the answer is going to be no. Box coming down. Hook connects in onto Wolf. Flag and Drag forward from Smeb, but he's just isolated himself, and he'll go down as Faker finds the kill. Now Pawn will also get taken out. 1 for Bang, 1 for Faker, and KT is sent running back to the base.
KT trying to accelerate the pace of the game, trying to get kills now. They feel like they can't take the game in the late game due to their focus on damage. May actually force a game 4 here, Kilios. SKT so powerful. Now they have the Baron buff. There's no threat of Smeb or LeBlanc. Base should be broken for SK Telecom.
Yeah, 20 more seconds on the LeBlanc. They can just go ahead and push straight in for the inhibitor. Likely not going to be having a base sweep like we saw from KT Rolster in games 1 and 2, but this is still such a better performance from SK Telecom as they go ahead and knock this inhib down at 26 minutes. Now Def's going to get jumped on to his advance. Let's take Antara forward, but he's got the spell shield to deny the root. But SK Telecom just going to be looking for this tier 2 here in mid. Bang not going to get caught out by that hook. Will stay alive, will stay safe, and they're looking for another one.
They can just brute force through. The Tristana is out of control. This game. Here's the engage.
Coming through. They find the lockdown onto Pawn. He goes low. He gets popped. Another kill for Bang on the Tristana. Now Smeb yet again jumps into the back, tries to finish off Baker. Baker flashes to the side, stays alive, has the shielding, and Smeb will go down as the score. They're looking for the ace. Mata will get taken down in the end, and that's going to be the game. Going over to SKT. They put one on the board. They're making it a series. That's game 3. We're going to game 4.
Pawn, as we saw there, right there, Bang Goomba stomping people on the Tristana, getting reset after reset. The game ends the moment that SKT have it in their control. 5 minutes is all they need, and SKT have a lifeline. Sub in Blank.